In today's podcast, I'm going to talk about an appointment that I went on last week, and I brought my wife with me. It's the first time we ever did this together, and I want to address just how unfortunately low the bar is to actually be good in this business. So I'm going to tell you the story about this appointment and share with you what I learned. Who am I? My name is Ryan Rice. I'm a full-time real estate investor going on 4 years. I try and share as much as I can with the hopes that you can make more money in your real estate business. So I took my wife on this appointment. We were able to do this just because she had off that day and our kids were out. And we've talked about the idea of her getting into the business in the future. And so we're like, why not? Come on this appointment with me. So we show up to the appointment. And how the dynamics of the appointment kind of shook out is we both introduced ourselves, and then I got to go around and take a bunch of photos and videos, right? This is a really big house, and there were multiple units in this building, and so it took a while to do this. Well, while I was running around taking photos and videos, my wife was just talking to the seller, and the seller had some family that she brought with her to the appointment. And my wife was just there talking to them, being genuinely interested. And for some context, for those of you that don't know, my wife and I has a superpower of being magnetic to people around her. People love being around her. She is extremely kind. She's very good with people. She's got a big heart. And for example, when she goes to the gym, they call her the mayor at the gym because she literally talks to everyone. She's always got a smile on her face. So she's really, really good at that piece. So we're at the appointment. I'm doing my thing, gathering a bunch of media so that we can underwrite the property. And my wife's just taking the time to talk to the sellers and being genuinely interested in them, being herself. And it's so funny. My wife was watching some show, and in the show, she noticed that one person was doing some technique where someone was just talking and the other person was just listening, and the other person would repeat back like the last 4 or 5 words of what they said. And I guess the person on the show talked about that being a technique. And so she was like, yeah, I just had that show in the back of my mind, so I did that. And the seller just kept talking and talking and talking and went on and on about her personal life. And, my wife was smiling and nodding and repeating back to her, showing that she was engaged. And they just loved her. And so we wrap up the appointment, right? We went back to my car, underwrote it. We wanted to further kind of look into it because it was a really complex deal. And so I went back inside and told him I would get back to him later that evening. So I get him on the phone and we go to make an offer. And before I even can, say anything about an offer, one of the family members was the one who I was on the phone with and was kind of facilitating this with the seller. So it was the seller and a family member on the phone. He says, Ryan, I just want to say my family member, the actual seller, the person he was related to, was just enamored by you and your wife. I mean, she loves you guys. She loved how honest that you were. She loved just getting to know you, and we really hope we can work something out here. And I just wanted you to know that we love the fact that it's a husband and a wife. And, that you guys were honest and just super kind. And long story short, he just went on and on and on about how enamored that his family was with my wife. And a couple things here. What's great about that, number one, is it shows you how impactful just being interested in someone can be in a sales transaction. Right? It's never about the sale. I talk about this so much on my podcast. It's never, your goal is never to get them to buy your product or to buy your service, or in this case, to sell them. The goal is never to get them to sell us their house. We want to listen to what their problems are, be genuinely interested in them. And then if we have solutions to those problems, then we'll present those solutions and they can make a decision on whether or not they want to move forward. And what's sad is they had other people look at their house and they interacted. They did the exact same thing that they did with us, but with other people. And the fact that we stood out because we showed interest in them, and my wife was kind and repeated back to them what they said so that they knew she was listening. It's just kind of sad that that's what stood us apart, because there should be more people that are showing genuine interest in the prospect, and it's not just transactional. And I wanted to make this because it's so easy to win these days, and it's also so unfortunate. So if you are in real estate and you're going on appointments, or if you're talking to a seller, that is how easy it is to set yourself apart from everyone else that they're talking to, is just be honest with them. Just actually show a genuine interest in who they are. And the people who are going to give the seller the perception that they're actually genuinely interested are the people who are actually genuinely interested. So be interested in the seller. It's really that simple. And so to tie it back to this offer call, we were on the offer call. He went on and on about how much he loved my wife, how much he appreciated us. And I had to significantly pre-frame this offer. The family member, when we were there, kind of told me some of the numbers that they were expecting, and I offered less than half of a number that he gave me. And that was really difficult. And I knew, because of the relationship that he built, had I just come out and had I given the offer, it would have came across very cold. It would have came across very transactional. And so I pre-framed the offer. Hey, like, I really enjoyed yesterday. I'm here to help you. I'm just really nervous that I'm going to disappoint you here, and I don't like doing that. And I went on and on about how uncomfortable I was about presenting a price. So I present the price, and long story short, there is somebody who has presented a price significantly higher than where we are. And so we go back and forth on that for a little bit, and we ended up getting the deal and contract. And there was one additional reason why we got the deal and contract, in addition to the fact that he, liked my wife, trusted us, liked the family appeal that we were portraying while we were on the appointment. And this is another emphasis on how easy it is to win in this business. The other company couldn't meet their closing timeline, and the other company shared that they needed at least 30 days. It was so clear to me, and the seller and I had some transparent discussion, but it very much seemed like the other company was just a wholesaler. Because otherwise, if they actually had the cash and they could actually close, why do you need more than 30 days? The seller was uncomfortable with some of the contingency language, didn't want to get wrapped up. It was very, very clear when we talked to them that they had a strict deadline. And they didn't disclose some of the personal details as to why they needed to meet their deadline, but they were very, very clear that the latest date they could close was X, and this other company just couldn't deliver. And so it's just another, example of how easy it is to win in this business if you can just be honest and actually do what you say you're going to do. If you're going to offer on a house and you are trying to wholesale it, then be transparent with them. If you don't know how to close it, then say, hey, I'm going to bring in a partner. Bring in the partner, right? Have your buyer lined up, have your people lined up, so that you're not giving the seller the sense of uncertainty. If they are communicating to you that they have a deadline to meet, then figure out how to meet the deadline. It's really not that hard. And it's amazing to me that the reason why we stood apart is, number one, because my wife listened to them and showed interest in who they are, because she was genuinely interested. And two, we just were transparent and we told them what we could do. And we know that we can deliver on it. And it's crazy to me that that's how we won a deal offering significantly less. And what's ironic, this is a really, really old building. And I've bought really, really old buildings before. And I have to buy them really low now because I have bought so many where I've lost money. And so I know that there are people out there who will pay more than me. And I told the seller that when we were on the appointment. Hey, when it comes to homes like this, I will never pay the most because unfortunately I've bought 30 plus of these and I've gotten my butt kicked. And I told the seller that, and he appreciated the transparency. And in so me telling him about the experience that I had, I provided proof to him that I could do what it was that I said I was going to do, which was actually close on the house and get them their money. So it's just amazing to me, and it also disappoints me that there's so many people out there who are just communicating with sellers and not showing genuine interest in them, not being transparent with them about what they can do. It's so easy to win. Just be honest with people. And then, the last thing that I did, and I think this is a good sales tactic, and this is how I'll close this out. But it was between me and one other company, and this other company had offered significantly more. And there was a lot of uncertainty with that other company, like I mentioned. Well, we have a lot on our plate right now. We have significant demand. I think we have 13 or 14 deals in our pipeline. Our calendars are packed with appointments. And so I was honest with them. And I told them, hey, my biggest concern, and look, this is not a sales tactic. I don't care if you sell this house to me. It doesn't bother me. But my biggest concern is that if we don't know that you want to do this, then we're going to go on other appointments and we're going to have to commit our resources there, and we're not going to be here when you want to come back around. And there's honesty there. My business has a capacity. I can only do so much. And so by sharing what your actual capacity is with the client, you generate scarcity. And they needed certainty around a closing timeline, and that scarcity helped them propel and make a difficult decision. And sometimes you just need to help them make a difficult decision. So especially if you are just starting out and you're a one-man show and you only have so many resources, and even if you're just wholesaling, you still have a capacity on how many deals you can go out and talk to buyers at, right? Like, generate scarcity. Tell them, like, hey, this isn't a sales tactic. I don't intend this to come across pushy. It doesn't bother me if you say no. My only worry is that my calendar is so packed that if you guys don't make a decision, I'm not going to be able to come back around. Right? So be honest with them and tell them that. So I wanted to make this, it was top of mind just because my wife did a kick-ass job on that appointment. And this is going to be a really good deal for us because, like I mentioned, we bought so many of these old houses. I have to buy them very low to feel comfortable buying these houses now. And I know there's people out there who will pay more. So my wife made us some good money on this appointment. And she did so by just, imagine that, being interested in people and smiling and laughing and listening and repeating back to them what they told her so that they knew she was listening. It's really that simple to win, guys. And it's almost disheartening that it is that simple to win. But just be kind, listen to your prospect, be engaged, be honest, be transparent, actually serve their interest, and it's amazing what you might be able to do and how much money you can actually make. So hope you guys enjoyed that. If there's a wholesaler out there who needs to hear this, please share it or tag me on Instagram and call out the real estate industry, and let's let everyone know how easy it is to win. And at the end of the day, I just want the real estate industry to continue to progress and help sellers more. And the way that we can do that is just by listening to them and taking action and communicating to them in their best interests. So share it. And I appreciate you guys. Love you guys. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.